Hello, my name is Sarah Engelhardt, and I want to thank Guernica Publications for making an author out of me. By the age of 84, it was time I landed. And how I landed? In the lap of Connie McParland, who has reserved a seat for herself up in heaven in the compartment of patience and guidance. David Murato, who spoke with me for just a few minutes over the phone, did a beautiful poetic cover rendition of The Journey Within. And even though I mention Michael Mirola last, he's certainly not least. He was ever present, ever there to help with guidance and just goodwill. Thank you. So I'm going to read a part of the book where I can look back and see the touch of fate. I'm Sarah. Abraham becomes Avi later in the book. This is 1944, September, first day of high school. I'm in the country for 4 months. I just turned 13. This is the fourth country I've been in since the war, and the 3 previous years I had no schooling. My overwhelming concern was being able to understand enough English so as not to look stupid. And so with a job that I was not quite ready for, I entered high school I was not quite ready for. On my first day of both, I worried about understanding enough English not to look stupid. In school, I was first in line, in the hallway, in front of the assigned classroom, waiting for the bell to ring us to attention and the teacher to order us in. She motioned with her index finger, "Walk in and stand against this wall." I understood. I led the class. Having been first, I ended up last. "Get your report cards and hold them out in front of you," Mrs. Ferguson demanded. I understood that too. From our school bags packed with pens, nibs, pencils, erasers, blotters, and notebooks, we retrieved our report cards. "Whoever has an E, step forward," Mrs. Ferguson said. That too I understood. I looked at my report card, and almost all I had was E. Sarah on one side of the pleat, and an E for Engelhardt on the other side. I stepped forward, the only one to do so. "You have an E?" Mrs. Ferguson snapped. I nodded yes. "Come here and show me." Her fingers motioned to make it quick. I walked past 30 sniggering students, painfully aware of being braless under my uniform and mortified to be wearing European ankle socks, and extended my report card. "You don't have an E, you stupid girl. Get back in line." E, as I learned never to forget, stood for scholastic excellence and not for the first letter of my family name. Mrs. Ferguson apologized later, but not in front of the class. "Are you the foreign girl I was told about?" She caught my arm on the way to recess. The acknowledgement startled me. I was not used to adults admitting a wrong. But by then her apology was as naught by comparison to the pact I had made. Mrs. Ferguson had ordered us to stand from our seats and give our names. "Introduce yourselves." Heads turned to each speaker. I exhibited my French R's and was dubbed Frenchie. So it went to the second row, where the boy behind me didn't spring up like a jack-in-the-box like those before him. He rose reluctantly, false starts, choked and cackling, face burning, body contorting, as he eked out the 4 syllables of his name, A.B. Boxer. And something inside me turned all my inward pity suddenly outward. Let me take his place. I prayed to take on A.B. Boxer's pain to spare him his. When the class laughed and tittered each time he was ordered to the dunce corner, I silently screamed, "Don't do that to him. Take me instead." I fantasized I could magically cure him. I imagined myself Superman flying to A.B. Boxer's rescue each time he had to speak. I visualized myself his mouthpiece. All the while I was laughed at for my English. So now we come to another phase of my comprehension of English. And I had written some French love songs some years later. And we come to my encounter with the manager of the Mike Douglas show, Roger Ailes. And he said he'd give me a spot on the show, but he'd have to hear my songs first. "Do you swing?" he asked. Of course I swing. I was surprised at the question. Who in the world doesn't dance, I wondered. So yes, he'd have me on the show. We'd meet to discuss which songs I'd sing. "I'll call you to set up a time." A week later, he called. "Our offices at the station are being renovated," he said. "Meet me at our makeshift office at the Warwick Hotel next door." When I showed up with my satchel of songs in hand, he pointed me to the large hotel sofa. He sat down smiling, very close to me, uncomfortably close. I asked for the ladies' room in order to return to the single armchair. When he came to sit on the armrest, I understood what swing meant. He dismissed me with prophetic words. "You're going to get to where you're going all by yourself." So we come to where I got to going all by myself, and the challenge that compelled me to write this memoir. During his last 3 weeks on Earth, there were times when Avi played baby, asked me to cuddle him, and he thanked me to have made a daddy out of him. And he thrust at me the magazine article he counted on to justify his madness. He pounded on the headlines so I couldn't miss it. "The hell of stutterers." Quote, "The effects of the handicap go beyond the physical. Low self-esteem, anxiety, fear of ridicule, and subsequent retreat from social contact all mark the life of the stutterer," unquote. And then he threw this challenge at me. "Which one of us has the better excuse to have so royally fucked up?" "This is my excuse," he pounded on the article. "What's yours?" The Holocaust survivor, the stuttering poet? You decide. Thank you. Thank you.